Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. I took forever to put this together because I have really long nails. I haven't even eaten my lunch, which is a gourmet, spicy, instant ramen noodle that still needs to cool down. So I'm going to let it sit in here and just bask in the glory of its goodness. But guys, we're back with episode 2 of Daniella'S writing diaries. And as you can see by this beautiful little board that I got at Winners for $12.99, this is the self-publishing 101 episode. Anyways, guys, why do I shake the whole table when I speak? I did that in my wave video and it drove me nuts. So I wanted to talk about self-publishing. I don't want this video to be like 30 minutes long because I feel like I've prepared and condensed everything to the point where we can just talk about it and go home. Self-publishing is and has been a really gratifying experience. There were moments where I was ready to attack because it wasn't going the way that I hoped it was going to go, and it was just a lot of pressure, and there was like, I just set a lot of expectations for myself and I wanted to make it happen the way I envisioned it. I can honestly and proudly say that it did happen the way I envisioned it both times. And yeah, I just kind of want to give everybody some guidance. I've had a few people slide into my DMs and ask about self-publishing, and when I ask for recommendations from friends and from peers as to what's next for the Daniella'S Writing Diary series, self-publishing was the way to go. I have really interesting episodes coming up on this series, but this is something that I feel like, I will show you guys in a video, how to get dewy skin. I will show you guys all of that. But my main importance and my main focus is also showing you my writing side and getting into that. So without further ado, let's get started! That was intense. That was very intense. Without further ado, let's get started. So, you want to self-publish? Do you have your manuscript? Your manuscript and your final version of your book is probably one of the most important things you'd obviously need, because when you're self-publishing, the product is the most important part. So before you are about to look for a printing company, before you're about to kind of, design a cover, design the layout, your manuscript is the most important part. Anything that I'm going to, talk about in this video, don't feel like you have to do it alone. There are so many people around you, or, people that you can kind of search for and hire for certain things like editing, for cover design, for layout. If you're like me and you don't know how to use anything Adobe wise, it doesn't hurt to ask for help. So when you have your final manuscript, when it's been edited, when you're finally happy with it, it's time to put the book together. So if you aren't, Adobe ready, nor if you have the patience to go through it, but you know what you want your cover to look like, or you're in need of inspiration, I highly recommend using www.canva.com. Canva is what I used to design both of my book covers for I'm Not Blue Anymore and for See You Tonight. I don't know how to use Photoshop. I used Microsoft Word to put this book together. Like, I just had to go through all the settings and just pick everything out. I'm going to do a fully separate video on cover design, but canva.com is where I went, and that helped me a ton. They gave such great ideas. I was able to personalize them, make them my own, and what really got me to finish these books was how in love I was with the covers and how I just couldn't wait to see them like in person. So in terms of printing companies, research is super important. I spoke to about like 5 or 6 printing companies until it was time for me to print. And I was just having a hard time because money is a huge thing. And when you have your product, before you're like ready to go to print, I would see how much it's going to cost. Either save up for a few months or, grab that paycheck. Don't go grocery shopping. Don't spend any money, and just bring that. Or even start a GoFundMe, start a Kickstarter, even ask your parents. It doesn't hurt to ask your parents. If you can't ask your parents, ask the internet. But if you are like me and didn't want to ask anybody for money and worked and overworked yourself so that you'd have that cash, saving is super important. I went with Sure Print and Design. They are quite far, but they do deliver. And I felt like they were a very affordable option and also very helpful for me because I can't design anything. But they were very helpful. They were very kind. And there were a couple companies that were asking me for like $3,000, $4,000. And I was like, what? Money was a huge thing. And the more that they were like raising the prices, the less I wanted to self-publish. But there are companies out there that are going to do it for you in an affordable manner. Sureprint and Design is great because you can make your book affordable by choosing the paperweight and everything, and you can choose what kind of paper, the paperweight, you can choose the cover design, you can choose like everything. You get to see how much it's going to cost you, and then you can do all of the like budget and the financing and like how much is this going to cost me? How much should I sell the book for? Then you can kind of price out your shipping and everything, and start to take into consideration where you're going to break even and where you're going to make your profit. Don't DIY if you're overwhelmed, because the main focus is like making sure the writing is good and making sure the project is good before you even think about, designing everything. Because if you start worrying about design and all of that stuff, you're never going to get the product actually ready to go because you're just going to be too focused and too stressed about the final piece. In terms of shipping, I ordered my envelopes for the first time. I went to Staples. I spent a fortune on envelopes, and then I went to Dollarama, and I felt like they were too cheap and too flimsy. I will link below what envelopes I used to ship out my books. I used Etsy.com to sell my books because I tried Shopify, too complicated. I didn't really know how I was going to work Amazon. I was just very comfortable with Etsy considering I'd used them before. And then I would recommend, checking out what works for you and also what's more accessible for your audience. A big thing as well is knowing the numbers. Know how much quantity you're going to need just based off of how you're marketing it on Instagram. If you see, 100 people liking a photo and you're announcing your book, the smartest way to know how many books you're going to need is to pre-order. So this time around, I wasn't sure because I wasn't doing a physical book launch just because it was Christmas time. I was already overwhelmed, and I did a really, really beautiful, nice, private and intimate book launch for my first book, but I wasn't ready to do that again for another book. So I wanted to just kind of do a pre-order, do some sick online launches, and, just focus on the product. For pre-orders, you kind of can announce your book, announce like a pre-order date, and then the numbers come in, and then you can judge how many more you're going to need after you officially launch. And you can get like a certain number for your pre-order and then call the printing company and let them know, listen, I'm on my last 10. Don't let it go beyond 10. Tell them you're on your last 10. And usually printing companies give you like a 5 to 7 day turnaround rate. Pre-orders and marketing are so important because you want the books to get out there by like as much people as possible. I'm very grateful and I'm so happy that people were like posting the book on Instagram because they're doing the marketing for me as well. Because then their friends are interested and then their friends place an order for the book. My friend Shay, she had friends say, does she ship to the US? And I ship everywhere. Shipping's huge though. If you're going to do international shipping, you really need to go to like Shoppers Drug Mart or to your local post office and just talk to them about like, how much does this weigh? How much is this going to cost to ship it out to, for example, the UK? And then they'll tell you, and then you can base your shipping rates off of that. You don't want to make your shipping rates too high because then people, they're typically used to spending a lot of money on shipping already, and because you're shipping such a small little thing like a book, you don't want it to be too expensive. And due to how much it costs to print the actual book, then to ship it out and the profit you make from it, there is a little bit of wiggle room for you to just make shipping a little bit cheaper. I, this time around, had a really fun time with my marketing because I had made, and I'll show you, I had made these little thank you cards. Where I got to write everybody that ordered a book a personalized note, thanking them and just talking a bit about the book really quickly. Because I didn't do a launch, I wanted to do something kind of personal like this. I also did stickers. I have no more because I got to put them on the package. Because my envelopes were just these basic white shipping envelopes, the stickers on them were good for like, just to give a little bit of see you tonight pizzazz on them. If you're interested in expanding from your online shop to a physical shop, talk to your local shops that you frequent around your neighborhood first, get an opinion, give them your book, and then all it takes is one shop, and then eventually you can venture out and sell to more. And you can work on invoicing, how much you're going to sell them at a wholesale rate to them, as well as, talking about payment terms, and e-transfer is usually how a lot of stores go. I'm grateful right now my book is in 3 stores, and 2019 I'm hoping to expand and put my books into more. Because right now the stock that I currently have is for like Etsy, but it's also to like go and deliver to stores. Self-publishing was a journey within itself solely because I there were many moments where I'm like, "Oh my God, this is not going to work. I don't think this is going to work. I don't think anybody's going to, order these, buy these," but it really helps to just organize yourself, set some goals for yourself, don't overwhelm, especially like don't buy too much stock. Just kind of weigh it out, and it's good to sell out because it shows people that people really want your products. I'm currently on my second run. I do have a bit of books left over, but I'm not too worried about it. There was a moment where I had my doubts and I was like, oh my God, these books. Like, I was thinking of this movie I saw where it was a part of a TV show where the woman like opened her closet and she goes, yeah, I used to be an author, and it was like boxes and boxes of books. And I freaked out because I was like, oh my God, I can never let that be me. The reason why I self-published was because I had shopped my first manuscript, Diary of an Awkward Girl, which I don't think will ever see the light of day unless somebody lets me turn it into like a Netflix series. I shopped it around and I just was not a big fan of waiting, and I got so anxious and so impatient. I'm the kind of person that, like, when I used to dye my hair, I would buy hair dye the same day and get my hair dyed the same day. If I want a haircut, I make sure that my haircut happens within like 2 days. I don't like to wait. So self-publishing was perfect for me. I just needed to figure out how I was going to self-publish a book. And now that I think about it, it's very rewarding to see that I made it happen not only once, but twice. And like self-publishing my first book was like having your first kid, where like you're really nervous and you're scared and everything's going wrong. But then when you have the second kid, you're like, I know what to do. That's exactly what publishing my second book felt like. I was already organized. I knew what I needed to do. I knew when I needed to launch my Etsy website. And I knew where I could cut corners, and I knew where it was going to be a little more expensive. And I'm very grateful for these experiences because it's nice to see people kind of impressed in a way when you say that you've self-published. And now that I'm venturing out into like the job world, it's kind of cool because they're like, so why did you, take 2 years to kind of work part-time in certain places and, not jump right into like the job field as soon as I graduated? And I told them, I'm like, a really big reason was because I have a side hustle and I needed to make it happen. And I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that I did, because now I have these 2 beautiful books. I have these 2 beautiful children, Braxton and Jaden. I have these 2 beautiful books, and I'm so happy. I have people messaging me saying that they're picking them up in certain stores, and I have people, coming to me saying that they enjoy reading the books. It's nice because I get messages that are like so heartwarming and rewarding. And people will message me saying, I didn't know that you could really put into words how I was feeling. That's all I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted, was just to self-publish so that I could get to as many people as I could. And I will honestly say that I don't think I'm going to self-publish again for another year. I think the next thing I really want to work on is establishing myself in a career. And I am writing another book right now. I know it's going to be another book because I've already kind of devised a plot. I'm about like 10, 15 pages in, so I'm not putting too much pressure on myself. I think 10, 15 pages is pretty good for the beginning of for January, but I need more. And I think that book is going to be something that I'm going to take seriously and I'm going to take to the right hands. But self-publishing really gives that opportunity for you to like build your resume in terms of what you've done as a writer. I may not have interned a ton when I was in university, and I may not have a lot of job experience, but in terms of my writing, which is something that I know I want to do in the future, and I know that's something that will always be, sitting in the back of my mind. At least it's something that I've built a resume for, and I have a lot of goals in terms of continuing that in ways that doesn't involve publishing books. Yeah, I guess I would just have to say, like, save a lot of money. Hire somebody. If you can't do the job, hire somebody to do the job. It's much more worth it to have somebody come around and help you than to do it yourself and it not be your best product. Research the right printing press for you. Talk to them, express to them what you need help with. My printing company, I was able to pay them to help me with a lot of it. If you're unsure about quantities and what to get, and if you're looking into selling into stores, talk to local shops, talk to independent shops. and little bookstores that can just add you to their shelves as well. And market that book on Instagram until everybody is annoyed with you and doesn't want to see the cover of your book anymore. I wouldn't make it too overwhelming, but just let people know once in a while that your work is there and it deserves to be seen because you worked extremely hard on it, so it does deserve to be seen. Thank you so much, guys, for watching my episode 2 of Daniella'S Writing Diaries. I don't know how frequent I'm going to be doing these. I kind of want to do 2 a month, but I think 1 a month for now with everything else that I'm shooting content-wise is going to be the norm. But I'm really grateful. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helps you. If you have any more suggestions in terms of like Daniella'S Writing Diaries and the series as a whole, never hesitate to message me or to comment below what you're looking for because I would love to talk about it. These are like little mini classes and seminars that I can kind of give out. I'm not like the wisest, but I'm very informed because I'm living this every day and I'm doing this every day, and my goal is just to help everybody experience what I'm experiencing, and if I could help anybody self-publish their own book, that's good with me. So don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn the notification bell for my next video so that you can see this face when it's uploaded. And oh, I just got light in my face. I'm going to eat my very hot still ramen noodles right now, and then I'm going to film more content. I have to wipe off my makeup and film a couple more videos this weekend. But I'm excited. Life's good. Happy February, by the way. I can't believe it's February. I love this month. And yeah, I'll see you guys. I almost choked. I'll see you guys very soon. Bye.